Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is me once again, Rush Dead Dixon Vixen, and tonight, it's been quite a hectic few days. As you all know, I got the shot. See, I'm experiencing the after effects. Like the only one effect that I have is some tiredness and an increase of appetite. Because yesterday I ate some leftover chicken casserole that I made. Then a couple hours later, I ordered a pizza, which is crazy. And then I took my time today, and so I had to go to the laundromat because laundromat, and then I went and got one of those cold compresses so I could uh, ease the swelling. But it's going to take a while to set in for the vaccine to set in, so I don't go back again until September. So then then after when I put my clothes in the dryer, after I was finishing up the ending of a chapter of Time to Kill. That was John Grisham, and it was narrated by Michael Beck. And so I finished that off, put on the tunes, and then I had to go to the post office to pick up something. I went to Rexall to pick up the compress. I went to the LCBO to pick up a bottle of red wine. And somehow I was craving for a Burger King Whopper. And so I said, what the hell, go for it. So I went to Burger King, got myself a Whopper. Then I walked over to Starbucks, got myself a peach green tea lemonade. And I sat out on the sat and I sat outside of Starbucks, sipping my peach green tea lemonade, which is my favorite at Starbucks, and my Whopper, and I felt pretty satisfied. Like yesterday, I was pretty tired, and then this morning I was still contemplating on whether to go out or not because I was just so exhausted. But eventually, as soon as I got home from doing my stuff, I just had to take a break. So I spent about a couple hours relaxing, and now I feel pretty better. Yeah. So what I'm doing tonight is I'm gonna show you the last part of my DVD collection, which is the TV series collection. Because I just love TV shows and all that shows that I grew up with. And don't mind the place. The place is is a mess right now. And look, see what I mean? Oh yeah, so when the shutdown gets finally lifted in in the next couple of weeks or so or month or so, I'm gonna finally donate all that stuff donate all send it out to donations to a thrift store, and I'm hoping to get a smaller desk because everybody's going wireless now, and I'm gonna get a thinner dresser drawer so I can make more room in my bedroom. So here we go, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you my TV DVD collection. Okay, don't mind me, I'm sitting. Okay, first up, I got all 5 seasons of my. Okay, I got all 5 seasons of my favorite show, The A-Team. I got season 1 right here. This is season 1. And it came out in 1983, which was a great year for television. Then it's season 2, which was a great season. Then I have season 3, which was the best season of the A-Team of all time. Great, lots of humor, lots of chemistry, and so it was, which I enjoyed. Season 4, which had some good episodes and some bad episodes, but somehow it was a good season. And then the final season, which was the 5th season, it had the court martial on it, It was those three were the best episodes ever on that show. And then it was a short season because the show got canceled, and then they aired they did an unaired episode like sometime during, like in March or something like that. So an extra episode is on there, and so eventually, that's the A Team, and I and growing up in my teen years in the '80s, it's a blast. Next up, we have the first two seasons of the popular TV of a movie that turned into a TV series entitled Fame. Now they only came out with two seasons. It lasted for two seasons on NBC, but eventually we thought if that was it. But eventually, the show they bought the syndicated television stations bought the episode, and it went on for four more seasons. So right now we don't know if seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6 will be out, and I wish they would. But actually, I had someone who uploaded some DVDs of season 5 and 6, but I'll probably get around to it one day. Next up is Family Guy, the first two seasons of Family Guy. Although I was very happy when it came back in 2005, I believe. Yeah, they uncanceled the show, and they were like growing new fans, and Family Guy, but now the seasons are starting to get silly and crazy. But I just loved the first. A lot of some of the episodes are really, really funny. So, but this first volume 1, seasons 1 and 2 were quite hilarious. Next, what I have, when Family Guy did the tribute to a Star Wars episodes, so I have went out, and this is Family Guy Blue Harvest, which is it's unrated, and it's got foul language, and it's really funny. And then the next day when they did Empire, it was called something something Dark Side, something Dark Side. So eventually it was pretty funny. It's got, oh man, funny. And next, the final one, Return of the Jedi, is entitled "It's a Trap." So it's a tribute to Return of the Jedi, and this was the last one. And but like they say, the openings are pretty funny, and so they say, what about the prequels? So I don't think they're going to do the prequels, and the three ones that Disney bought, that signed up with Disney, but they did a good job. Yeah. Okay, on to the next one. Next up is lasted for 3 seasons, and it has one of my favorite people of all time. Michael Pare, who starred in Eddie and the Cruisers. I watched that on Saturday. Oh, that was it was a good movie, and I just think Michael Pare is gorgeous. Wow. It's called The Greatest American Hero. It was a cult hit, and I love cult television. I watched that show growing up, and the hit song by Joey Scarberry, Believe It or Not, was a top 10 hit. And and it's pretty funny. And so eventually it's got, Ralph Hinckley is a teacher by day and a superhero by night. So eventually, it's on Prime, Amazon Prime too, but I had to have the collection, get this complete series. It was a classic hit. Next up is a show everybody watched on Thursday nights at 8:30. Remember Thursday night television, Cosby and Cheers and Night Court and LA Law. The one up between Cheers and Cosby is Family Ties, the complete series. all 7 seasons on DVD. I got this in Toronto about over 5 years ago, and I paid a pretty good price on it. It's HMV, and I really, really miss HMV since they have streaming now. And so, Family Ties, this is a must-have because the 80s were awesome for television. Next up was a show that after Hawaii Five-0 went off the air. This is a show that I watched every Thursday with my brothers, and then when it comes on, and the show is Magnum Pi, like the original Magnum Pi, not the newer one. I watched the newer one, and it's pretty good, but no one can replace Tom Selleck as Thomas Magnum. It's got all 8 complete series. It's got bonus episodes when they did the crossover from Simon and Simon and Murder, She Wrote. This is a must-have. It's a great DVD collection and part of your collection, and Magnum Pi. Nothing can replace Tom Selleck as Thomas Magnum. Okay, now next up I got season 1 and season 2 of the Monkees. Yeah, the Monkees. Yeah, so eventually, I love the Monkees. When they got on television, came back to I think watched it when I was back in the mid-late 70s growing up. So, but eventually, when it came back in 1986, it was Monkey Mania all over again. So eventually, then I started to watch the Monkees, and I'm just like, wow. And then I developed a crush on Davy Jones. God rest his soul. And so eventually, the Monkees are great to have. And it also has a bonus episode in it, 33rd and 33 and a third revolutions per monkey. It was really, really weird, but it looks like it's back in the 60s. They needed the work and all that, so it was late 1969. But it was on against the Academy Award, so I guess they just added in there on purpose. So because tell Hollywood these days. Next up, I got all 9 seasons of a show that I watched when I was that was on, and I thought it was really, really good. It's like Melrose Place. It's not like it's sort of a soap opera type, but it's mostly a drama, not a continuing drama. The show is One Tree Hill, and it's got a lot of great acting. It's about a bunch of high school kids from the town of Tree Hill, North Carolina, and so and through the years they have it deals with everyday problems. They went from high school through adulthood, and it lasted 9 seasons. And some of the episodes are really, really good, and it gives you a great memory, and that's why I love One Tree Hill. Okay, next up is another cult TV hit. It was a spin-off to Happy Days, and it had remember when the late great Robin Williams first appeared on Happy Days, everybody loved him so much they had to give him his own show. So from another spin-off of Happy Days, it's Mork and Mindy, the complete series. It's just the whack. It's got two of the Happy Days episodes with Robin Williams in it, and as soon as I start watching it, I just Mork and Mindy really makes me laugh, and so it was so funny, and a lot of great episodes, memorable guest stars and all that, and that's yep. Next one is a show that I just loved as soon as it went on the air in 1986. And I watched it every Wednesday. Then it moved to Fridays for TGIF Friday. And it only have two of the seasons came out, and the rest, I don't know when the rest is going to come out, knowing the companies anyway. It's Perfect Strangers. It's one of my favorite comedies. It's Larry and Balky, and it's about a man from Mepos who decides to move to America to have a better life, and he meets up with his American cousin Larry Appleton, who's from Chicago, and so eventually their cultures clash. They clash about almost everything, and it's just a riot. They only have the first two seasons. I only have the first two seasons, but I don't know when the rest of the seasons are coming out. So eventually down the road it will. Next up, I got all 9 seasons of a show that changed television forever. And it's a show about nothing. And that's when my roommate and I watched it all the time. The show is Seinfeld. I got all 9 seasons of the show, and it is a riot. And like, it changed television forever. Like the Thursday night lineup, where they had Friends, another TV show, Seinfeld, Frasier, and then ER. And so the 90s were a really good season for television. Seinfeld changed the whole ways of television, and the show, it's funny. It's got great chemistry. The comedy is awesome. It's got a lot of stuff. It's got a lot of extras in it, and it is just a riot. Okay, next up, this is a show that my roommate watches every Wednesday when I went to bowling, and I've seen bits of it, and it comes on a syndicated channel on UPN on Wednesday nights at 8. And then I decided to sit down and watch one episode of it, and I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. And the series is called The Sentinel. It's the complete series, 4 seasons and 65 episodes. It's about a former U.S. Army Ranger who spent 18 months in the jungles of Peru after every member of his unit was killed in a botched mission. Surviving in the wild helped him develop hyperactive senses of sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. He befriends anthropologist Blair Sandberg, who declares him as a sentinel, the watchman from ancient tribal cultures who watches over the village. In Jim's case, the city of Cascade, Washington, is his village. Together, the two fight crime on the streets of Cascade. So eventually, this was a cult hit, and that brings back great memories in the late 90s. So this is one for my collection. Okay, next up, I just got it today. I was anxiously waiting for it, but it was since a delay. It came out, it was in 1998, and it's about growing up in the 70s. It's a comedy, and if you grew up in the 70s, if you were born in the 70s, then you're going to love this show. The show is That 70s Show. It is so funny. It's about a bunch of kids, it says, rock on with all 8 seasons of the grooviest show to ever hit the airwaves. Flashback to the decade of disco with Eric, Kelso, Jackie, Hyde, Donna, and Fez in this 24-disc set of hilarious retro comedy. From chilling out in the foreman's basement to hitting the road in the Vista Cruiser, this complete series leaves no peace, love, and hilarity behind. So tune in and prepare to trip out with the funky fooleries of your favorite groovy gang. And they had a lot of guest stars on the show, which was awesome. And it was so, there are a lot of episodes that I just loved. Like, one of my favorite ones was the Christmas episode. And Eric didn't want to join the family Christmas party. So he decided, so they asked if he could have his own Christmas party downstairs. And and Eric agrees. He says he gives him $40 to buy the family Christmas tree and use the rest for the party. So, but what they did, they went to the interstate and got a tree out there, so they spend the rest of the money on beer. And oh, it's just so hilarious. But when Kitty was making punch and cookies for the kids downstairs, when she got out, Lori, Eric's bitchy sister, grabbed grabbed a bottle of rum and spiked the punch. And so eventually they thought, and then when the cops came during the Christmas party, they had to confiscate the tree because it got stolen off the interstate. And then Red was furious. He storms downstairs and says, "Okay, party's over, everybody out. And I want the rest of my $40 back." Actually, and then Kelso, the truth was Kelso, who held on to the money, spent the rest of it on Jackie's hot rollers. And she was like drunk. Like all the girls there were like drunk, and they say, "What the hell were they drinking?" "Just Mom's punch." And so he decided to so Red tasted the punch, and he went, "Lousy with hooch." I was just, oh my God. And then he kicked everybody out. It was so funny. It's just hilarious. Next episode is another cult collection. It's a cult hit. And it was a phenomenon back in 1990. My mother introduced me to this show, and though I didn't see the pilot for many years to come, I became a huge fan of the show, and it only lasted 2 seasons on ABC. Eventually, the question is like, I'll give you some clues: owls, trees, cherry pie, coffee, donuts, and a dead body, and a murder mystery. And the question was always, who killed Laura Palmer? And the episode and the disc set is Twin Peaks. This is the definite gold box edition. It got me some. It's got a lot of. It also has the original pilot on it, and it's got lots of stuff on it. And I never forgot the day when Laura Palmer's killer was revealed, and I was all alone in the basement, and I was watching the television, and as soon it was revealed, I was shocked, and I'm like, what? I'm just like, okay. Yeah, and then when the show was over, I turned off the TV, I went to bed, and I didn't even sleep at all that night. So this is a box set to must. And finally, the last thing on my TV list, a collection, is a show that revived back about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was very happy it did, and I loved it. I love David Lynch. His work is amazing, and so this is and then it turned into a limited event series. So they wrapped up a lot of stuff and say what they went on 25 years later, and the show is the Twin Peaks, a limited event series. It says, a quarter century after revolutionizing television, Twin Peaks returns. Expanding the world you thought you knew, this limited event series takes you places wonderful, strange, and farther out. This DVD collection shows all 18 parts of the Showtime series, plus a wealth of exclusive behind-the-scenes special features that will show you what's behind the red curtain and the making of this extraordinary television event. So eventually, I really enjoyed it. Some people didn't like it. Some people loved it. It's either you love it or you don't. So as soon as it went out on DVD, I had to get it. I really had to get it. Yeah, I explained it all to my mom, and my mom saw a couple of shows, and she was not thrilled with it. But eventually I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty well done. I was doing live reaction streams of Twin Peaks, and until my laptop went, I just couldn't do it anymore because it was just kept interrupted and all that. But eventually, like someday I'll do live reactions of all my all-time favorite episodes of old television shows. So that is it for me. Now I'm gonna go out and rest to get to so the vaccine will get used to my body. So if you have any questions, if you want to subscribe or comment on my channel, please do so. But please be respectful. So once again, this is me, Rush Dead Dixon Vixen, saying good night and God bless.